Hi friends, I'm coming at you today with a full face of nothing new from the drugstore. I just dug through my collection. I grabbed only drugstore products. By that I mean I have one not drugstore product, and that's because I don't have a replacement for my Becca under Eye Corrector yet, but I will find one. Promise. I need to try the Pacifica one, but I'm nervous now that the Pacifica concealer gave me bumps on my face. My skin's doing okay. I feel like it could be better given the fact that, you know, I'm not really wearing as much makeup, but I also feel like I'm not washing my face every day. Like the motivation and like the self-care, it's not really there right now. I'm just not thriving. But with that being said, we're actually gonna wear foundation today. I haven't worn foundation in forever. If you like this video, feel free to like and comment down below. If you want to subscribe to me so you can see more of my beautiful face all the time, then feel free. I do all sorts of stuff. Reviews, chit chat, updates, wear tests, color challenges, fun things like that. So that's what we're doing today. If you're interested in a video all about drugstore products, nothing new, definitely can still find them all because they're not new. Then keep watching. My best friend Lindsay just started working at the company that I work at, remotely, obviously. She lives in Boston, I live in New Hampshire, so we're not like in the same place. This is the L'Oreal Lumi Glotion in shade 902 light. We obviously don't work like in the same exact location, but we both work together, and she just sent me a nice good morning message on Teams. How cute. I feel like it's been our like life dream to like work together, live together, whatever, and it's partially coming true now, so we're getting there. Now I'm taking the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer, the original one, and I'm just kind of rubbing my finger in it. We're gonna put it on our cheeks to fill in those pores. All right. Now that we're primed, let's do this foundation combo. So I'm doing a wedding trial in 2 days. And somebody had said that they like the L'Oreal Fresh Wear as a drugstore option for weddings. This is a Fresh Wear in shade 405 because it wears great and it sits really well on the skin. It does fall into my lines a little bit, so I don't particularly love it as much, but for people who don't have like as aggressive lines, it probably is great. I'm also mixing it with the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Glow. Obviously, this is shade 202. Pro Glow is my baby. I feel like I have a lot left here. I did a full pump of the Fresh Wear, which is probably why there's so much left. So now I'm taking my Eco Tool sponge and I'm just blending it out. I can't guarantee that all the brushes will be like drugstore, but I don't really own brushes that aren't like affordable. So if you're curious what brushes I use, typically I use Real Techniques, I use e.l.f., I use Morphe. And Morphe is affordable, especially now that they're in Ulta. They're a little bit more accessible as well. So that's just something to keep in mind. I have like an indent on my forehead from sleeping and it hasn't gone away yet, and it's 9 o'clock. I've been awake for 2.5 hours. What are you gonna do? All right, so my one non-drugstore product is this Becca Under Eye Corrector because I don't have another one yet and I need to find one, but it's important that my eyes look good. My daughter decided that 5 a.m. was a great time to walk in here this morning, and I didn't fall asleep till almost midnight, so we're a little tired. Okay, now obviously Covergirl Undercover, Trublend Undercover. I just got this one in Classic Ivory and it's a little yellow for me. I am a neutral girl, so I'm not sure what I'm gonna do. I'll probably still use it, but I don't know why I did that. I need to do my under eyes first. I'm gonna still use it, but it's definitely not my right shade. I need it to be more neutral or even pinker. All right, now we're just blending up and out here. So today we're gonna use a powder bronzer, a cream blush, and a powder blush. So we're getting all the products. We are doing a full face. I mean, realistically, if I'm doing this much layering of product, it will for sure be long lasting, which is nice. Just making ourselves look completely flawless for no one to see us. Little on the chin, little on the forehead, blend it out. Yeah, know the drill. Okay, and one thing that I have to do when I wear foundation that I don't do on a day-to-day basis is I have to set my face, because this will crease if I don't. So we're taking the Maybelline Fit Me Loose Finishing Powder in the shade 10. Since I just shook it up, there's some on my cap here. I'm going to take my sponge, dip it in there, and then work that onto my hand just a little bit to get some of the excess off, and then force it into my forehead. I am still doing cream bronzer, but I am going to set my forehead now because it will need it. Then I'm also very gently going to set my under eyes, just because if I set too much, my under eyes get really dry and creepy looking, so I'm not going to do a lot. Just enough to keep them looking sane. So when I'm doing this, I kind of like to start down here. So I put the product down here first and like move it upwards as I go. So I start on my cheek and move up into my under eye and then out. That way when I first place the majority of the powder that's still on the sponge, it's not directly on my under eye. And then I don't have as much of the like dry powder right there. Great. Okay, breaking out an oldie but a goodie. This is the Physicians Formula Organic Wear Sculpting Bronzer in the shade Toffee. They also have a deeper shade. But we are going to put this on the back of our sponge. I also could draw this right on, but I feel like this method is my preferred. So I start right at the temple and then I work down. Give myself that chiseled look. This is also the bum of the sponge with foundation still on it, so I feel like that's probably helping it blend even faster because that was very easy and very simple. So once again, we start at the temple and then work our way down here. I feel like doing challenge videos would be fun. Does anybody else want to see me do challenge videos, like a no mirror makeup challenge, or like, I don't know. I don't really have any other ideas, but that's like the only challenge I can really think of. Oh, somebody just tagged me in the Skittles makeup challenge where, I mean, it's essentially just like face paint, but you pull a random color of Skittles out of the bag. Why am I, oh, I have a zipper on my shirt. You pull a random color of Skittles out of the bag and then you make that your like step in your makeup. So like foundation, blush, bronzer, you know. But I thought that would be fun. The other thing that I do have a lot of is jelly beans from Easter. So I wonder if I just like put some jelly beans in a bag and grab them and do it that way instead of the Skittles makeup challenge. Because I don't own Skittles and like nor do I really want to eat all the Skittles. So like if I were to buy a whole bag, that'd be a little bit of a bummer. Of course, right? This is the Pacifica Cheeky Cherry Cheek Stain in the shade Cherry Baby. It's like very neutral color. Squirt some on the back of my hand here. Very pigmented, so you gotta be careful. I'm actually gonna try to use my finger, I think. Just because I've kind of run out of places on my sponge, so we're just gonna use our finger and blend this out. And yes, that squeaking is distracting. He's staring right at me, poor boy. I've been putting a little bit of blush on my nose lately, which I've been into, but Now I'm just gonna take this clean side and just blend everything out before we put the powders on. Okay, next step. Get our important brushes here. Of course, the one toy that squeaks is the one that we're gonna use right now. Of course. Take this big Real Techniques brush and this e.l.f. bronzer. It is the Primer Infused Bronzer in Sunkissed, Forever Sunkissed. Great product. Matte, doesn't have any shimmer in it, which is nice. So we're just gonna bronze our skin, bronze our skin. Okay, bronzer is done. Now we are going to use the e.l.f. Bite Size Face Duo in the shade Spiced Apple because it is a beautiful blush. Right here, I'm gonna take another Real Techniques brush. This is the actual blush brush, I'm pretty sure. 400 blush brush, yes. I'm just dipping her in here. And we're just going to start at the temple and then blush down. So the only reason I don't put blush right on the apples of my cheeks is because I like a more lifted look to my makeup. And when you're putting blush on the apples, it's not like sculpting your face. Technically, this technique stems, I don't think this is like exactly draping, but it stems from the idea of draping, which is like essentially contouring your face with a blush instead of with bronzer. So it's kind of what we're doing. A little bit. Great. Feel like I need a little bit more bronzer on the forehead. And I actually grabbed a highlighter for today. So this is the Essence Pure Nude Highlighter in shade 10, Be My Highlight. I feel like this highlighter is one of the only highlighters that I will ever use. I think it is absolutely stunning. So we're just gonna put it on the top of our cheekbones, like right up here, and really buff it into the skin because I don't like the look of highlighter, honestly. And this is more of like a glow from within kind of thing. And I'm using this brush because it is very pinpointed, which is nice. I don't need it like all over my face. I just want it in a very specific location. Just going to put it on my nose. And on my Cupid's bow. Actually use my finger to help me here. And then blend it out. Now we are highlighted. So that's the skin. Now we're going to move on to the eyes. And I had a hard time finding like a drugstore palette that I know is available, but also like actually in the drugstore. So I don't really have like a Maybelline or a L'Oreal palette. I just don't use them. I don't own them. But I do have this NYX palette. And I looked it up. They do sell it at Target, so it is still a thing. And probably Ulta as well. But this is the NYX Ultimate Shadow palette in the shade Warm, or in the Warm Neutrals. All sorts of options here. I think I'm gonna go for more of like a rosy look, maybe with like these 3 shades here. So let's see how it goes. So I'm gonna start with a transition shade into my crease. I think I'm gonna start with this one right here. They don't have names, so my description's the best you're gonna get here. And I'm going to start by putting that into my crease. So wherever you place the brush to start is where the most of the pigment is gonna go. So I kind of put it right here and then I work it out. Something I've been doing more recently is blending my transition shade into like my nose contour area, which I think has been adding some nice shape to my eyes. Okay, now when there's like barely any product left, I am going to drag it out, wing it out a little bit, very gently. I don't really want this going everywhere. And then I'm going to take a plain brush with nothing on it and just kind of help the blending up to the brow bone. No harsh lines, no harsh edges, everything is good. Okay, per usual, I'm just gonna do one eye and I'll do the other one off camera because it does take a while. So now I'm taking this, per usual, I don't know how to describe it, like a flat, fluffy blender, you know? I'm going to dip into this shade right here, right below that transition shade that we just used. I'm always tapping off the excess because I don't want fallout, because I've already done my whole face, my base makeup, so I don't want more fallout on my face. But I'm looking at this like there's a mirror here. I'm actually just using my big mirror. So I'm gonna first start by depositing this onto my lid, the outer third of my lid. So that is where I want the product. The majority of the pigment right here. And then when I have essentially nothing left on my brush, I'm going to start to blend it into my crease very gently. Now I'm going to take that first brush that we used with our transition shade and I'm going to blend everything out just to make sure it's seamless. Then I'm actually going to take my plain brush and use that to kind of wing this out a little bit, just because I don't want to drag more product out here with a brush that I just used to blend. Great, so now I'm going to take one more brush, which is going to be what one? What brush? This one. This really tiny blender, and I'm going to dip into this shade right here. It's going to be our darkest shade today. I'm taking the tip of that brush and dipping it in there. And I'm going to try and keep this low to the lash line. And then taking that second brush, second blender, and blending it out. Okay, I'm actually going to dip back into that first transition shade one more time. And just deepen up. Or more like, not deepen up, but more like neutralize these two shades on the outer corner. And it allows them to blend into my crease a little bit better. I feel like it wasn't blending exactly how I wanted, so just a little bit more product. So I grabbed an eyeliner, but I don't think I'm going to use it. But if you ever want a good eyeliner recommendation from the drugstore, I grabbed a brown because that's what I wanted today, but a really good black eyeliner is the Wet n Wild Breakup Proof liquid liner. And then the NYX Epic Ink liners are also really good. The brown one I do like. The brown formula is a little funky. You can't really layer it as well. So if you do want to layer, I would totally recommend doing like a thin or like a really thin layer of the brown and then topping it with eyeshadow, because then you're not going to get that like thicker, patchier look. I just find that sometimes it can get a little like thick looking if you just layer the brown liner on top of itself a lot. So now for fun, I'm going to take this shade right here in between these two deeper shades that I used. I'm going to just dip my flat paddle brush into the shade. And then you spray it, which has not been sprayed before, so. Okay, the mister is pretty nice. It smells funny. This is not a mirror, Caitlin. Okay, so I'm gonna just put this on the center and work it into the inner third, but I'm actually gonna put a brighter shade on the inner third. One thing with my particular eye shape is when I open, my shimmer ends up getting up here, so if I do it intentionally, it tends to work better for me. Okay, now that that's on, I do want to take a little bit more. I'm gonna actually take this second brush and dip between the two, the transition and the darker, just to kind of blend the edges of this a little better. Okay, the other thing that I have that's fun is this L'Oreal Infallible Shimmer Shadow, just 24-hour Infallible Shadow. This is in the shade Iced Latte. It's bright, which is fun. And I'm gonna put this on the inner third. So you open it up and it has like a little cover. I'm gonna take my ring finger. It's so soft. And I'm going to put it in this inner and then blend it on top of this deeper shimmer. Kind of make a little blending concoction here. I'm just gonna pat this brush. I didn't put any more on it. I'm just gonna use it to like pat over top. Gonna blend them together a little bit. Okay. And I did get that a little higher than I want, so I'm going to take my original crease brush and I'm going to just touch that up along with this plain brush to then blend that even further. Sometimes the shimmer can kind of get away from you and get into your crease, and if you just go back over with your blending brush, it typically will just dye it down a little bit, which is good when you make mistakes like me. Okay, so lower lash line, I'm just gonna use the same mattes. I'm not gonna put any shimmers down there, just not my thing. So I'm gonna put this transition shade all the way down here. I'm gonna take this warm tone shade, kind of more precise to like the center of my iris, and then I'm going to take the deeper shade and keep it really close and tight to the lash line. I'm also going to put on my mascara and do my other eye, and then I'll be back and we can do lips together. I just need to finish up. So I also did my brows. So I just wanted to tell you what I was using since it's all drugstore. So L'Oreal Voluminous Lash Paradise. If you don't know that this is my favorite mascara, do you even watch my videos? It's the only one I use, and it's literally the only one that I own. So there's that. And then for my eyebrows, I used the NYX Tinted Brow Mascara in the shade Chocolate, and then mixed it with the NYX Lift and Snatch Brow Tint Pen in the shade Ash Brown. So on a day-to-day basis, I would just be using like a brow gel, but my eyebrows are very asymmetrical, so I do try to like draw them in a little bit with this pen to just kind of help it make them look somewhat symmetrical, but like, is it working? Probably not. As far as lips go, I have a lot of options here. And you know what? One would say that they all look the same, but that one would be wrong because they're all different. So these two I've had for a while and these two I've never used, so I kind of want to use one of these. These are the NYX Suede matte lip liners. I'm pretty sure they're like $2. They're really inexpensive. One is in the color Stockholm and one is in the color Free Spirit. I think with my eyes, I also was going to use this Maybelline matte ink on top. If I don't want to, then I'll just throw a gloss on, but let's see. Maybe I'll swatch them, decide what color I want to use. They're wood lip liners, which are not my absolute favorite, but oh, I have used this one before. Ooh, I think I like that color more. I'm gonna use Free Spirit. So I'm first actually going to put on chapstick, so that kind of goes on better. This is my soft lips. You can also get this at the drugstore. It's my favorite chapstick. I have one everywhere. Also, in case you're wondering, I just finished a whole chapstick and had to throw it away. That's how much I have my life together. Okay, so I am lining my lips. So the reason I do chapstick first, because I feel like it just goes on much smoother and much less like dry and tuggy. And so that helps me fill in like my whole lip line and just makes it feel more comfortable. Also, having chapstick under lip liner long term makes it also feel a little bit more comfortable. So I think I am gonna add this Maybelline matte ink, Superstay matte ink in the shade Ringleader. This is 175. Don't spray, come on, gentle. Oh, thank God. Okay. It's a little brighter than I want. But I'm just gonna put it in the center and tap it out. Oops. Just so it's not like that full color, because that is a little bit pinkier than I want it to be. Okay, now I'm gonna take that lip liner wherever I put it, right here. I'm just gonna line one more time, because I feel like when I tapped it with my finger, I kind of smudged my lip line. I Hope you have a fantastic day. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you had fun with me. Like I said at the beginning, if you liked it, please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel so you can see more from me. More drugstore looks, more reviews, more chit-chatty get ready with me. Irregardless, let me know if you liked this like full face of nothing new, because I do have a lot of makeup and I don't always use it all. So if you want to see something that's not fresh, not new, things that I have opinions on, then like let me know and I'll do that more often. I know people love drugstore looks as well because it's affordable, and that makes sense. I get it. It is easier and it's more accessible to most people. So if you do like drugstore looks, I can focus on trying to like really up my drugstore game, especially when it comes to shadows. I feel like I have this palette and then Profusion and ColourPop, and that's it. So if you like that as well, just let me know. I'll try to get more into it. On that note, I'm gonna go to my meeting and go to the bathroom and let the dog out, and I have to take pictures of this. So adios. Here I come. You know the drill. Right up close. We're not focusing. Like what is happening? There we go. If you want to see the eye look, this is it. And the lips. See my little pimples. Anyways, bye.